My name is Devin Carroll, and I've been practicing IPM on tree and vine crops in the southern San Joaquin Valley for 24 years, and I'm an associate with BioAg Services. Integrated pest management can be defined as a set of goals. The first goal is to prevent pests from harming the crop. We want the farmer to earn a profit, and to do this we must control the pests effectively and without costing too much money or spending too much of the farmer's time. On top of these primary goals, we want the pest management tools to be safe for the consumers, safe for farm workers, and safe for wildlife. Finally, by definition of the word integrated, we must understand the ecology of the plant and use it to our advantage to stop problems before they reach the point where chemical sprays are necessary. The ecology includes the health of the crop plant, the temperature, the cover crop or weeds, neighboring plants, and of course the insects, including the pests and the predators and parasites that eat the pests. To achieve pest management in an integrated fashion, we have a set of tools. The obvious first set of tools are chemicals. Some chemicals are harmful to the environment or unsafe, and these are the kind we want to avoid. But other chemicals are safe enough and do not harm the predators and parasites and are not harmful to wildlife, and these are the tools that fit in very well with IPM. As a general rule, chemicals that were developed in the 1950s and 1960s were not the kind we want to use in IPM. They were harmful to the environment, not safe for farm workers, and left residues on fruit that were potentially harmful to consumers. As time went by, each new generation of pesticides has become safer and more IPM friendly. The chemicals that are coming out from pesticide company today's are quite safe. Many of them are just as safe as organic pesticides, and they are narrow spectrum. They only kill a small set of pests without harming the predators and parasites that control other kinds of pests. This means that there is less difference today between IPM and what we refer to as conventional pest management than there was, say, 10 or 20 years ago. Another kind of IPM tool is cultural practices. For example, proper irrigation, using good soil amendments that will make the plant healthy, regulating the temperature, and other things that help control the pests without using chemical control. The third kind of IPM tool is some clever control techniques that do not involve using chemicals. One good example is mating pheromones. Mating pheromones smell like female insects, such as moths, and attract the males so that they can't find their female mates. For example, one common pest in apples is codling moths, and we put pheromones out that flood the orchard with the smell of the female codling moth, and the males can't find the females. So the females never mate, they can't lay fertile eggs, and there's no need for spraying. Among the most important tools in IPM is biological control. This means encouraging the predators and parasites that eat the pests so that we can perhaps avoid spraying. Most often, the natural enemies we want are already in the environment naturally, and the grower doesn't have to pay for them. Sometimes we buy specialized parasites or predators from insectaries and release them in the orchards. For example, many citrus growers use a tiny parasite called the golden chalcid. We release millions of them in the orchard, and they do a terrific job of controlling the California red scale, which is the most serious pest of citrus in California. I'm very glad that biological control is important in the crops that I monitor because, frankly, that's the funnest part of my jobs. I really enjoy watching the predators and parasites and seeing what they're going to do. Perhaps the most important tool in IPM is monitoring. The other tools that we have are of very little use if we don't know if they are needed, when they should be applied, when they are being effective, and when they are having perhaps a harmful effect on the biological control. IPM is not always easy. Sometimes the bad old chemicals are cheaper or quicker, or they kill more pests, and farmers who tend to be risk averse, they're working on a thin margin, they can't afford to make big mistakes, and they like to use the methods that they've been using for many years and they know they work. It's not easy to persuade them to try something new until maybe their neighbors have used it or the researchers have definitely showed that it works. But to be innovative, we have to keep trying to do things better. I find that I have to be honest with my growers so they could trust me. If I know that the best way to control the pest and avoid big problems is to use one of the harsher chemicals, I will recommend it, reluctantly, but I will. That way they can be sure that when I tell them that they don't need those chemicals, that they can use something else, they'll trust me. And I think that by doing this, I help reduce the amount of the harmful chemicals more than if I insisted on only working with growers that are organic or very far along on the IPM path. Those growers are already there. I want to help the other growers achieve a better IPM. So I start by showing them that I'm on their side first. They're my first priority. And then I gradually introduce new methods to them until they are one of the shining examples of IPM, and that really makes me feel good. Over the years, IPM has proven to be the most successful kind of pest management. Today, most pest management professionals use IPM to some degree or another. In the meantime, the chemical companies have introduced many new chemicals that are IPM friendly and given us many new tools. IPM not only works well, but it's a lot of fun and it's friendly and good for the environment. Many years ago when I was in high school, before I decided what I wanted to do with my life, I read Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, and that helped me get into this field, along with it being so much fun. And that still is one of the guiding principles of my career, is to try to help this industry become safer and safer. And I'm proud to say that not only has the industry improved greatly over the years, but I think I've been a part of that and made my contributions to that. So that's it.